The next video, or the current video, is about the early industrial era. So a key change is the separation of work and home, and along with this comes a gender division of labor for middle-class families. And what we mean by separation of work and home is a change from the agricultural era. Right? In this era, for middle-class families, men are going outside of the home to specialize in paid work, while wives are taking on greater responsibility in the house for child care and household labor. Along with this is this big change of this redefinition of motherhood. Mothers are the emotional center of family life. In addition, the nuclear family grows in importance. And by nuclear family, we mean those two generations in a family, just parents and children. Along with this gender division of labor came a new ideology to support these changing roles, especially the changing roles for women, putting mothers at the center of the family, mothers being in charge of parenting, and also change the meaning of childhood and stress the need to protect children. Middle-class mothers could divert attention to child-rearing and keep children at home for longer. Often referred to as this cult of domesticity, it glorified women's domestic roles. The world of the home became the world of the female. Her role was to make her home comfortable for her husband and to be with her children. So I think we've covered all these points so far: men specializing in paid work, wives taking on responsibility for child care in the household, this changing ideology, a redefinition of motherhood, and increasing importance of the nuclear family, parents and children, which means a separation from the community for middle-class families. Along with this ideology came this idea of the cult of true womanhood, that a true woman should be pious, should be religious, a true woman should be pure, a true woman should be submissive, and by this we mean weak, timid, humble, and dependent on her husband, and also cultivated domesticity. Right? That the woman's realm is this domestic realm where she should focus on housework, and things like sewing, and things like flower cultivation, but also even health care. Right? A woman is in charge of the health care for her family, which at the time was in the domain of families. And I want for the forum post for this is to contrast this idea of early industrial families, middle-class women, cult of true womanhood, contrast this with this video that I found of this CoverGirl campaign, which I think kind of encapsulates what a 21st century woman looks like. We can also talk about families becoming more heterogeneous along class lines, which I'll discuss in the next video. And this becomes clear when we compare middle-class families to working-class families. For working-class families, women and children are still working in factories, in agriculture, also as domestic servants. And because women are working outside of the home, working for wages, that for them, the neighborhood community is still an important source of support. Less so than this real focus on the nuclear family for middle-class families.